Thank you to everyone for joining us today. We are the three co-founders of M&A Healthcare Advisors, and as we were discussing our reflections on 2022 and how it pertains to 2023, we figured we'd share those insights with you here today. So Mike, if you want to start us off, what was one of your biggest insights?
All I've heard in 2022 in terms of activity and data that's out there, even data that some of our competitors put out there, is that transactions were nothing like 2021. And as we know, I don't think, we may never have another year like 21, which was spectacular. I mean, hopefully we will, but that's still in doubt. But despite all the doom and gloom that's essentially put out there, transactions from quarter to quarter are diminishing, valuations diminishing. I mean, I can tell you unequivocally, it has not been our experience. In our experience this year, first off, every company that we represented went under contract, right? While going under contract, each of those sellers had multi-bids, and each of those sellers had multi-offers, and within each of those offers, we were able to capture that outlier bid, whether it was one or two buyers, and look, for a variety of reasons, right? I mean, as we well know, the market is the ultimate dictator of valuation. Your company or XYZ seller, XYZ company is going to be worth more to one strategic organization or one private equity group than the other, but without fail, companies were still getting sold. Valuations were mirroring those of 2021, and I have no reason to believe anything is going to differ in 2023. So that was my biggest takeaway, that if you are a healthcare provider and you are interested in selling, don't be fearful that you missed the boat. I mean, because you certainly didn't. And again, this is all coming from our experience just this year.
I would say that as I look back on this last year and I look forward to 2023, that it just continues to reinforce my experience that this is a highly fragmented seller's market. And especially in the segments of healthcare that we represent. Right. Because it just shows that there's a lot of operators out there who have not been consolidated in this market, and there is a tremendous amount of demand for these businesses. And even as you start to go into a recessionary market, which it's clear that systemically there are problems with the broader economy. Fortunately in healthcare, we don't experience that as much. But even as healthcare tries to become more efficient and it starts to move towards more value-based modeling and accountable care, the businesses that we represent, lower middle market healthcare businesses, are still in high demand, right. And there's a number of them out there, and there isn't one consolidated force that is taking the majority of the market share. So that allows us to go out there and represent these businesses, and they want us. There's demand for us.
Right.
Something you always talk about is how really it's an issue of caregivers right now, and that a recruiting tool is the ability to acquire one of these businesses and bring on that personnel, centralize the systems. And I think that's what we're seeing too, is fragmentation in the buyer community.
Right.
It was the last 4 years, it was primarily financial buyers, private equity, and they would come in and they were really focused on the cash flow and the financials. We're seeing a lot more strategic activity now, and those strategics are looking to create synergies and to acquire personnel. I think that trend is going to absolutely continue. Especially, it's going to be an inverse correlation to the greater economy. I think we might even see more acquisitions as the economy starts to go down, because they're going to need to find these people somewhere to service these patients. Because we know that one thing's for sure, patient demand and the health of this country, that's definitely not something that's going away.
Right.
We've spoken with a number of sellers this year, and I found that there's a sense of urgency that comes across, that they want to sell, they want to sell now.
They don't want to miss the boat.
Yeah, they don't want to miss the boat. Once they get it in their minds that I'm ready to transition my life or retire or find a capital partner in that way, that they want it to happen as soon as possible. And we've found internally that you cannot be hasty with a decision like going to market.
Right.
Not having everything properly in line and then engaging buyers will only lead to surprises popping up at the worst times.
Right.
So taking the time to properly clean up your financials, make sure they're presentable. That might even mean bringing in a third-party CPA and taking that 2 to 3 months or however long of the timeline it would take to get those in order. Making sure your contracts, your leases, Everything, your licensure is ready to go in an organized file. If you're an absentee owner,
Great point.
if you are separated from your business to some degree or have been for a number of years, becoming reintegrated to that business or reacquainted at the very least so you can represent that business accurately. Point being, taking the necessary steps, and that may take 3, 6, 9 months to properly prepare your business to ultimately then go to market, will only benefit you on the long term.
Yeah. Surprises, as we say regularly, right, will lower the probability of a company being sold. To get ahead of all that, massively, massively important. Take the 3 to 6 months or 9 months, to Mark's point, up front, right? You get one shot at doing this, and when you get to market, you want to get to market the right way.
Yeah. It's interesting because we want to move fast, and we leverage technology to create efficiencies within our organization, but there's just no substitute for hard work.
You can't force it.
It's like you just can't delegate building the materials and the information. You have to become an expert on the business, and we have to be very clear to the client whether they're ready or not ready. And the only way to be ready is to work hard in terms of preparation. And then the process is the process. And if you go out and you don't have the materials you need to sell this business, and you don't have the information, the knowledge, you're going to have a misstep along the way. It may not capsize the process, but it's sure going to create some missteps along the way.
Well, it's also tougher to drive value, right? Especially if those hiccups are in the financial components of somebody or financial aspects of somebody's business, right? I mean, we need those clean, prepared, thorough. Our clients, and us included, should be able to answer for every single line item on that P&L, balance sheet, any other financial statement that we're presenting. So important to take the time up front without being redundant.
These are just 3 of our insights. We, of course, have many more. And if you'd like more content in line with this, you can visit us at our website. We have plenty of videos assessing the market, addressing buyers, and sharing more insight from our previously sold clients. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to a great 2023.